Hello, everybody. Jimmy Williams with ATS. I'm partner with my boss Joe Gehring. We're really excited. We've got some big news to share with you on this ATS live tonight. We're hoping that we get some of our current drivers, but also some drivers that are maybe looking at joining us as their next career move. As I said, we've got some big information here, guys, hot off the presses. What has been happening all week, everybody, behind the scenes, even behind the scenes from us in recruiting, is operations, management, everybody has been meeting for pay increases for you, the driver, right? And as I shared with you off right here, we're going to talk tonight about hi, Nick Beeler. We're going to talk tonight about you flatbedders. From what we've got approved, that was just approved today, that's going to go into effect May 3rd, correct, Joe?
Correct. Yep.
May 3rd, this is all going to go into effect, but it's some really big pay increases. What I'd have asked of you guys to do, right? This is interactive, right? Throw the questions out there. We're only is going to be able to help you if you can help us with the questions that you got coming out. And again, it's great to see some of our drivers already jumping on. Ask questions, guys, because we're doing this for a reason, and it's because of you, the driver, right? We want to make the experience for you, the driver, as best we can, but we also want to hear what's going on, what's on your mind. You're going to hear what's been going on with ATS's mind in management, and like I said, we are extremely excited to get this going.
Agreed. Hey, so everybody, what we love about this is we are completely on track and committed to doing these to where all of you can 100% know that once a month we're committing to doing these at 7 p.m. simply because of the time of the day. And not all the drivers can be doing it when we're doing it on our Thursdays that we do at 11 a.m. But just do know we are going to be doing this again tomorrow at 11 in the morning. Jimmy won't be with me. I'll be kind of handling that one solo because we're going to kind of piggyback on a lot about what we're going to be talking about tonight. You guys, I can't encourage you enough though. Listen, we call this ATS Live, Ask Us Anything. The better the questions, the more direct you are, the more detailed you're asking the questions. We want to have the opportunity to be very transparent. We've got nothing to hide here at ATS, and we're really excited about a lot of things that are going on right now. So I guess what I'm going to roll out first is two big things. Just today we had the approval for some pay changes. So if you're an active ATS driver with us and you're joining us tonight, this will be getting communicated to you guys by tomorrow. So know that we got this information before it got rolled out to the fleet managers to get to our current active drivers.
Sneak peek.
And so, so we're going to keep watching the questions coming up, but until there's a specific question to me and Jimmy, I'm going to go ahead and start out by saying we've kind of restructured. So upside pay seems like a complicated pay program for our company drivers. We're trying to make that as simple as possible so there's no confusion. Let me give you an example. For our flatbed side, our cents per mile, the minimum cents per mile. Hey, Lamont, thanks for joining us, buddy. Our bottom worst case scenario is 55 cents a mile is what our new company drivers will be coming in at. But the big announcement, Jimmy, is what on the percentage?
The percentage has increased on the upside pay that you guys are current drivers and drivers coming in is 24%, right? That has now been increased to 28%. That to me, that's huge. A 4% increase in your pay starting on May 3rd. There's some other things involved in that too, but I look at it, guys, this way, right? ATS is all about you, the driver, right? And we've been talking about how good freight has been paying. You guys are seeing it now. ATS is a company that passes that back on to you, the driver. I think that is the biggest thing I've been stressing to drivers I talk to. Still, we'll be talking about it, but ATS isn't just about ATS. It's about you, the driver, right? And we're passing those, record freight that we're getting right now. We're passing that on to you, the driver.
Well, and tonight, so we're going to try to close the gap a little bit here. So all of our independent contractors, you guys are all seeing a very nice change because when the market rates are what they are today, as long as I've been at ATS, and I'll date myself, but I've been here over 30 years, we've really not seen the rates staying and holding the way they are. So the last 12 weeks have just been incredible, and we're just getting into the good season right now. And so to give some perspective, I wanted to kind of spell this out a little bit. So I was commenting earlier, let's say you're a brand new driver coming on board ATS, and we tell you about this upside pay. Well, so you're going to sign a pay sheet that says 55 cents a mile, but what you're not understanding is that 28% that you're being paid, if the revenue on that load will earn you more money paying you 28% versus the 55 cents, that's what you're going to get. And what happens then is for about the last year and a half, our company drivers have been averaging about 65%, 65 cents per mile when you combine those two together. So remember, every load that you're dispatched on, they calculate whether the CPM, let's say it's a lower paying load, well then the worst you're going to make is that 55 cents. But then all of a sudden you get that load that's paying us great, and you're being paid 28 cents. You might be making 80 cents on that load. And when you combine those two together, over the duration we do this, we run a report every week, and we look at the last 4-week rolling average. And for about the last year, we were holding right at about that 65 cents, never dropping below it. But today, that range has increased between 70 cents, which is about the average for our company van drivers, and all the way up to 75 to 76 cents for our company flatbed drivers. And I'm going to talk about what that means in weekly earnings for you. So this is going to be something that is going to be rolling out to all of our active drivers, as well as a new program for our new incoming company drivers.
Yeah, absolutely. There was a couple things about lease drivers. We're seeing the questions, right? David Cody, what's the average dollar per week to truck on flatbed? We will get into that. So all your questions that we're seeing, coming in on the side, we will see that. But I'm going to take Rodney Weiss. What you're seeing, we're seeing record freight, right? So that's not just for company, right? You're seeing at the 65% that as a lease driver, if you've been here a little bit longer than that, and you've got some tenure, that is upwards of 66, 67. But you're seeing some really high paying freight right now. And that 65%, you're going to start to see that through your paychecks. You guys are going to start killing it as you have been all year. It's just only going to keep increasing.
Well, and actually, Rodney, we were talking about that earlier, but so we look at the earning report. So when we're talking about earnings later, I've got a whole bunch of spreadsheets here that basically are this morning's report, so I can give you guys an idea of the last 4 weeks rolling. But for you guys that are contractors with us getting the 65% and the rates that we're getting, the bottom line is you know what your average pay was in 2020 and what your settlement checks are weekly today. And what we're trying to do is make sure that our company drivers are also able to be rewarded and get some of the compensation back because of the freight rates. And that's why the Anderson family has increased that percentage and created this upside pay program in the first place. And we started at 23%, then we bumped it up to 24%, and now we've just taken this huge jump up to 28%. We couldn't be more excited because it's making sure that our company drivers are also able to be able to be capitalizing on these current market rates.
Yep, exactly. And for all you van drivers that are listening, right, there will be something by the end of the week. We're hoping to have all our pay increases and everything done by the end of the week, so there'll be an announcement for you van drivers as well.
And so, and Jim, I'm glad you announced that. We're hoping to try to have them both by today. But listen, you guys, we're doing another live session tomorrow at 11. And if it isn't out by then, remember we're doing this thing every Thursday, and you can always call us. So as soon as this is live, it's going to be the hottest news on the press for the next live session that we're doing here for ATS Recruiting. I do want to kind of go up. So David, your question was talking about earnings. Trust me, we're going to be getting to this really shortly. There's just a couple more bullet points that we would like to be able to get to. Tassie, are we ever going to get a higher percent than the 67%? So I can't say that I'm aware of anything currently. There's ongoing talks, and I think some of those talks are being talked about with tenure and with longevity. So as of right now, 65 is the starting point, 67 is our highest point. But I do know that there's talks going on, but nothing close enough for me to talk about today. So I hope that answers your question. How will it hold at the current rates? Well, you guys, the fact is we've had a country shut down for a very, very long time. Freight has been completely locked down. Think about the customer base of Anderson Trucking, the Caterpillars of the world, the John Deeres of the world, the Power Energy, all of these big factories that have been closed down because they can't have the production because of COVID. This stuff is all just starting to break loose right now. This is trucking. We don't know how long it's going to last. Our forecasts say we don't see an end in sight right now, at least through 2021. And I think for anybody in this business that you can look and say, hey, we believe the remainder of the year is going to stay this strong or stronger. That's pretty confident. And I think we've been doing quite good on forecasting, and it's exceeding what we originally thought would be optimal. But we do feel that we're just getting into the part of the strong season for us right now. So great questions. And what's kind of nice is, every Thursday when we do these at 11, we'll give you updates. This is pretty fluid, but when I see 12 weeks back to back in the current global conditions of what's happening, that's a pretty strong indicator that there's a lot of demand. And frankly speaking, with a company like us, with our hiring standards being quite high, we're not going to cut corners, and we're not going to be hiring as many drivers because we got to make sure that we're only bringing in the drivers that we consider to be the pros that we're looking for.
Exactly. And just to comment on that, Joe, look at Clinton's comment, right? I mean, he's already made 50K and it's only April, right? And he's running our Midwest regional. The freight is up, you guys. The freight, as Joe was saying, the supply chains have opened, right? So Caterpillar, everybody that was sitting that couldn't push the product because they didn't have the plate or the note or the bolt, to make it. Now they do. So there's freight stacking up, and as Joe said, ATS does a great job of forecasting, not only throughout this year, but into next year. So we see this anticipating for going on for quite a while. Hello, Stephanos.
Hey, Stephanos, so listen, in this environment, we say ask us anything. Clearly there's something that came up with your truck, and without a doubt we want to talk about it, but it's not really right because I don't have any details of the rest of the story. I'm going to just put this out there. You guys can call me or email me personally anytime. I've got the easiest email address within Anderson Trucking. It's just joe@atsinc.com, and I'll be glad to try to sit down and pull this together. But if we've got issues at our shop, there are right processes to follow for that, and we can't do anything about it unless we know that there's an issue. So I do appreciate you bringing up the comment, but you know that I can't really say much specific. We just opened up our new facility that we just built in Porter, Indiana. You guys are seeing the facilities that we've got here up in St. Cloud, Minnesota. When it comes to Houston and any of our other facilities, there's been a lot of money and human resources that we're trying to continue to upgrade the maintenance shop and making sure that we're trying to be as efficient. Because if you guys are down, we're down. And if you guys aren't running, doesn't do us any favors either. So do trust that we're trying to keep an eye on that dashboard, okay? So
Absolutely.
And you guys think about these Facebook or I can't say these ATS lives. We want to stay caught up because the purpose of this is to have this interaction with the questions. So some of these events have just got a ton of questions, and we've got an agenda that we'll fill the time with. And so if for whatever reason we don't go through all the talking points, we'll get to them eventually. And we do monitor these questions for weeks after the events because these things are getting shared, and there's so many good questions. There's just a lot of folks that can't join the session. Does that make sense?
Absolutely.
So Jimmy, let's talk about, so we talked about the increase from the 24% to 28%.
Mm-hmm.
So why don't you go ahead and cover a couple of the other changes that have happened with the company flatbed drivers?
Absolutely. So the over-dimensional pay, right, has been increased to 50% for the company drivers, right? That used to be 33%. Now that's 50%, right? Another big step and a big increase. Tarping, right? Hey, we're paying you to tarp. Tarping has increased from the $60 you were getting paid to $80 on a legal load. That's moved on an over-dimensional. That's moved up to $100, right? I talk with a lot of my drivers. Takes them, hour or so to do something, maybe a little bit longer on something that's over-dimensional, but man, that's $60 an hour. Or sometimes that could be, you're making $90, $100 an hour. That's pretty good money. So across the board, what you're seeing is ATS looking at what the flatbed drivers are doing. They're increasing your cents per mile with the 20 with up to the 28. You're out there doing the overdimensional. Your pay is increased on your overdimensional. Not to mention now your tarping pay has gone up. So completely across the board in the flatbed specialized side, you're seeing large increases that are only meant for you, the driver. And I couldn't be more happy and excited to share this with you guys. I've had shared it with a couple of my drivers. Nick Beeler, you were one of them too. But I shared it with a couple of them that, this was coming out. And thanks for joining us, by the way. And hi, Lori Beeler as well. It's exciting for me as a recruiter, and it's exciting for me and John and Robbie and Patrick and Holly and Paul, to be able to share this with you guys. It just, when I look at the company, right, ATS, it's all about you, the driver. It's all about the driver experience. It's all about how is the driver doing. And by all these things that I'm seeing on here, they truly ATS wants the best for you, the driver.
And listen, we know it in here. And listen, one of the issues with a new driver looking at a company, we see these trends going on with basically we're being told what we want to hear. That's why we personally ask for our drivers to join our live sessions, because we got a lot of folks out there that are willing to talk with you, and there's not a driver that's the same. Let's just be fair about that. When we talk about the earning ranges, we got a range for a reason. We got some drivers where that home time is way more important, and we've got some drivers that, listen, they're out on the road 2 to 3 months at a time. The experiences of those two drivers are going to be different because there's trade-offs for those things. We want to make sure that there's a good balance and that we're able to provide what's needed for you guys based on your needs. And we're falling behind on a couple of the questions, and I want to just touch on a couple of them. One message came up is, can you message us on Facebook with these lives? 100%. I'm the old guy.
Me too.
So I wish I could tell you exactly how. And so, Samantha, you probably already know that answer, and you can sure throw it out there for everybody else to see. But I'm sure that when you're within the drive for ATS and you just go and send message, we will get that message on a private basis and be able to respond to you. And I did want to jump up. I saw a couple of messages up here. Where are we at? So, Mike, Mr. Crowder, you kind of know the deal here. So that's always the suspicion question about the balance as far as what we're offering to contractors versus company trucks. We've been doing this for 68 years. We got to keep both sides happy. So there's going to be times that you're asked to do a favor, and there's going to be the time that you get that mother load. And I think you've been able to get a flavor of that. You're not going to get all the good loads, and the company truck gets all the bad loads, or the company trucks gets all the good loads, and you get all the bad loads. We try to keep a very good balance. We're paying attention to the revenue to your truck and to everybody else's truck, and we try to make sure that we're doing things that we believe is right to the entire driver fleet. So I hope that's specific enough. I definitely don't want to cross hairs on that for sure. Eugene, hearing you loud and clear. We're doing a lot of work on adding some. There's actually a couple of new customers that we're working on to try to add some additional options within the dedicated route. Rodney, love your comments. That's why we love you guys coming on board here. How far behind are we, Jimmy?
Do lease drivers get load options and load access, or is it forced dispatch? David, no, it's not forced dispatch. As a lease operator, you're partnered with a load planner and a fleet manager, right? You will sit down with your load planner and you will set your loads up, right? Does that mean you're going to have access to the complete ATS load board? No. Dependent upon where you are in the country is going to be what's available for you when you're talking to your load planners and your fleet managers. But that's a great question.
It is, and I'm going to get a little bit more detail. So there's a lot of businesses that set up that way. Our business is to make sure we're finding you that freight, David, and we're going to make sure that we're giving you options. You can turn down the low and turn down the next one. If you're communicating good with your fleet manager and you know that you're about to deliver in Pennsylvania and you'd really like to try to get down to Texas, they're going to be looking for freight that's getting you down there. Now, we do have a logistics arm within Anderson Trucking, and they do have an internal load board that you guys can look at, but we don't go to outside boards, and we would be glad to explain that to you. but we would hope that we're going to be able to feed you load options that you wouldn't need to go out to a load board. But again, call us if you want to get into a few more details. We've got a very big logistics arm here. You got to remember, we got 550 employees in this building to try to help support the Anderson business, and we don't have the Anderson business without you guys out there. And I hope that makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
Look at our little check. I want to make sure that
Yep.
we're not missing anything on the pay changes. Well, I'm just looking at a few of these questions.
You know what, guys? No, that's really the top buttons. I'm going to just go over it again, right? 24% up to 28%, a 4% increase in pay, right? And Joe's hit on it too. That when we're seeing averages over the last 12 weeks, even beyond that, where drivers are averaging north of 70 cents, per mile when you're coupling the upside pay. To me, that's just huge, right? That's a big number when you get over 70 cents a mile. Over dimensional pay has increased to 50% versus what it was at 33. And then of course our tarping that we talked about went up to $80 for illegal and $100 for over dimensional. Again, your fleet managers, your current drivers, you'll be hearing about this from your fleet managers tomorrow. Drivers that aren't ATS drivers, give Jimmy a call, give Robbie a call, give Patrick a call, give us a call, and we'll be more than happy to discuss this with you as well. And van drivers, right? Stay tuned, right? Because there's some big news coming for you van drivers as well.
Hey, and Martin, so you're the second person that brought up something about the shop. So what I'm going to propose is this: when this live session is done, that's really going to require a really focused talk. And I think I'm going to try to get a smaller group. So if any of you guys have got questions about some shop issues, throw a comment out there. That's fine, but I'm not going to be able to address them tonight. But what I will do is if you've made a comment on this live session, we will be personally reaching out to you to try to get into a few more details. And I hope you feel that that's fair, okay? So Jimmy, why don't you read through this? And I think I'm going to jump into a couple of other things real quick, if you're okay with that.
Yeah, go ahead.
So why don't you talk a little bit about some of the changes that we made with our rehires that are coming back? So if we have a driver that leaves and is coming back, some of the changes that we've made there.
Absolutely. Drivers rehires. We love hearing from you. If you left for whatever reason, you left ATS. What we've done, or what operations has done, is they're going to bring you back where you left at. So you're not going to have to come back to ATS and start at zero, right? You're going to start with your longevity, with how long you've been here, with everything that you had in place. Let's use the example as a flatbed driver, right? If you left here as a class 2 driver, right, you're coming back as a class 2 driver with everything that you had in place at the time of separation from ATS for you to go home. That I think is huge. With that being said, sign-on bonus, does that matter? I don't talk about sign-on bonuses very often, right? But to some drivers it's important. If a driver does come back and he's within a certain time frame, and I can't remember exactly, Joe, off the top of my head when that is, but you will qualify for a sign-on bonus as well. But the big thing from that is you will be able to come back when you left ATS. You will be able to come back at basically where you left us, right? Pay all the necessary things. You're not having to start from scratch and go forward. So I think that, again, it's operations looking out for flatbed drivers, incoming drivers, van drivers, rehires. We've looked at the whole picture of ATS and looked at the whole picture of going from there. And away we go from there. I do got to make a comment if I can, Joe. Dakota, did you shoot a turkey? I hope you did. He's right on the bottom.
Wow.
He's going to be coming in next week. Awesome. Thanks for joining us, Dakota. I'll give you a call tomorrow.
Unless he said some things have changed and he might have shot himself in the foot. I hope that's not the case. Hey, Nathan, I'm seeing some dialogue going back between you and Clinton. So, excuse me, I'm trying to get caught up here. So, Nathan, you had asked a question, and it looks like one of our other drivers have responded. Listen, I've not been hearing about drivers that are sitting waiting on freight at all. No. What I can't fix is if you're sitting and waiting for that specific load. There's so many variables to that, but I have not heard of any drivers sitting and waiting. So I guess the question comes down to what the communication is. And I want to personally, again, I would love to have a one-on-one talk. So Nathan, you want to give me a phone call or send me a quick email of a good time for me to chat. I'll be glad to get with you and your fleet manager and make sure that we're really looking at the full big picture. I really don't mind any question. When we say ask us anything, there are just some things that we can't,
Right.
we just can't get into the specifics because I don't know enough. Okay, I don't have a screen in front of me. So to kind of recap real quick, the big items that we were talking about for tonight was the pay changes for flatbed company drivers. We do know that there's a pay change coming very soon for our van company drivers as well. The biggest changes on that is that the percentage has gone from 24 to 28%. That are the OD pay, you're now being paid 50% of the OD pay when you're on the mileage side. And of course, if you're getting the 28%, that's all encompassed of the full freight that's being paid out. The tarping pay, we've done the math on, let's say it takes 2 hours to do a tarp, but tarping a legal load is now $80. Going up to the OD loads is $100. Basically, it's going to be about $40 an hour, and we're trying to try to make it worth your time to be out there to do that work. What am I missing, Jimmy?
OD went from 33. The OD pay has been increased from the 33% up to 50%, right? And again, just across the board changes for you, the driver. It's all north, right? With higher pay. I did see a question over there, but I think you scrolled through it. But again, guys,
Jimmy, take control, buddy.
No, I love the fact with the questions. I do, and we can't be better, or we can't try to get you what you guys are looking for, and going from there. Nick Beeler, I know you're a new rehire. Thanks, I appreciate that, bud. We appreciate you being on here. Even Ian, Paul, and everybody else that is responding back. When Joe and I, talked about this about 2 months ago, we talked about this Facebook and what we thought it would be like, right? And we all said, look, it's going to be up to you, the driver, to make that going forward. And for me as a recruiter, I can't be more happy to be in front of you. One, because you can put a face with the name, right? Some of you I've not been able to meet yet because of what's going on. Some of you are going down to Porter. We used to be able to. Hopefully that'll change in the near future. We used to, as recruiters, be able to go and meet the drivers that are here in St. Cloud for lease. So I love to put a face with the name with my drivers. But in the grand scheme of things, it's, again, I've said it. I say it on every ATS Live. It's all about you, the driver. It's all about you and how we look at things and how we're trying to balance everything at ATS. So for me, these increases, I've heard the whispers, right? And now for us to be able to talk about it, wow. I just am ecstatic. Even drivers that are van drivers, right? If you want to look at becoming a flatbed driver, and if it's the money, great, but it's a defined career path, everyone, right? It's the flatbed, it's the specialized freight. Don't forget, we've got a heavy haul team. Don't forget, we got a wind energy team. Right? If you're wanting to work a little bit harder, if you're a van driver now, hey, give your recruiter a call, right? Talk to your fleet manager or somebody like that, or somebody that's not a current ATS driver, that's a van driver. Give one of us recruiters a call. We'll talk you through the whole process of becoming, maybe switching from van to flatbed, and making it a big career change. So with the news we've shared with you, the opportunities for not only flatbed drivers, van drivers, heavy haul drivers, everything is going up, and I can't be more happy as a representative of ATS that shares this message with you, the drivers. It's fun for me.
Right. And you guys, I want to tell you, like I said, I've been here 30 years, and I've been overseeing driver recruiting for a little over 8 years now. All you guys popping up, I do know most of you, and Albert, good to see you coming on board too. If we don't get to your question, be 100% rest assured you will get responded to, even if we respond. One of the things that I love and hate about the way we do this is we got to stay very fluid, and it doesn't take long for something to get thrown out that takes us completely off of our topic. But like I said earlier, we're here to answer your questions that you've got. I really do want to thank our active drivers that are on on this call right now too. Some of the comments back and forth, even you guys just connecting with another driver where they're experiencing something else. That goes a long way. There's nothing better than for you guys to be collaborating. And I've got a lot of drivers for anybody who's new looking at ATS as an option. I can give you 10 or 20 names tomorrow to call to get on one-on-one experience, because I can't stress enough that there's no one driver like. And we work very hard. I think you agree, Jimmy, that we've got to take the time to know what each driver is looking for to really make sure, are we the right fit? And we're going to be the first ones to tell a driver we're not going to be able to meet the expectations you're looking for.
Bill's got a great question.
Go ahead.
Yeah, Bill. Bill Fanny, thank you for that. You've got flatbed experience, mostly hauling bag loads and some lumber. Absolutely, we do securement training, right? When a driver comes in to ATS tomorrow, we'll use the example of, we do orientation every Monday. Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday are busy days. Tomorrow, drivers that are flatbed drivers, some of them went through the securement today. Tomorrow is one-on-one training for securement training, for you to get used to chain and bind and tarp and all that good stuff. We will not put you out on the road, Bill, until you are ready to go through our load securement training. And thank you very much. Somebody's already answered your question there on Facebook. So yes, we'd love a chance as the recruiting department. We'd love a chance to talk to you, Bill. Just give us a call and we'll have that conversation.
Yeah. Well, in April, I saw your note. I heard some banter on this last night too. Listen, bottom line is our company trucks and our lease trucks are going to be governed at 65. We've been doing a lot of talk about whether we're taking that up to 70. If you're a true owner operator and the truck belongs to you, you can govern it at whatever you want to. But my 30 years that I've been here, we've never governed over the 65 miles an hour. We are talking about doing some, no decisions have been made, but the talk right now is, are we going to give some time for pedal to allow the truck to get up to 70 to do passing? But you've heard me say, until it's been approved and Mr. Anderson's signature is on it, where I can say it's a done deal. I can only tell you that it's being talked about. And our recruiters, listen, if there's a misunderstanding, but there might have been a misunderstanding, but 65 is our current speed on the govern, and I'll be the first one to just say that number's staying for now, but we are looking at the options to where you've got that ability to pass, but we are not quite there yet. Also saw a quick question about sign-on bonuses. So one thing I'm going to really stress is I hate sign-on bonuses, but I love transition bonuses. I don't want any driver coming to ATS because of a sign-on bonus. I'm looking for that driver. I'm proud to say that the average tenure of our drivers is over 5 years. And so we're looking for those drivers that are looking for a home. They're looking for a place to stay for a long period of time. So when we do a sign-on bonus, what we're really doing is we're trying to make sure that a new driver coming on board with us is having money from the day that they stop their old job to when they actually get out on the road and start making money with us. But to answer your question, the sign-on bonus can range anywhere between $2,000 and $5,000 based on your experience, based on how much of that is over-dimensional, how much of that is flatbed. So if we'd have to look at your specific application, but what I will tell you is that the bonus ranges between $2,000 and $5,000.
Yep. I knew this one was coming, right? Pets. I'm going to let Joe answer that. We've been talking about this for a while. I know it's on the Andersons' minds, right? We've been talking about it forever. But then I want to just before let Joe answer that, I think your wife had it. So, Nick, if you don't have a refrigerator in your truck, I will call you tomorrow. This man here will EFS me a $100 code that you will get a refrigerator in your truck. So we will talk about that tomorrow. But pets.
Okay. So listen, you guys. The reality is pets and company trucks primarily have been a no-no for any trucking company in the nation. We're starting to see a little bit of a change, and I'll be honest with you, we've got a lot more female drivers that find a security about having a pet in the truck. A little bit of a change of the drivers from yesterday to the drivers of today. So as of right now, in our lease program, of course, we have a pet policy. In our company truck, It has not been approved, but I will tell you that I've not been in less than 20 meetings about pet policy. What do we do? How do we do it? And here's the reality, folks. It just takes that one or two drivers that bring that big old dog in and destroy the vehicle, and the cost it is for not only the trucking company, but then the driver who's going to get in that truck after the fact. It's a really hard balance. So we're trying to figure out where we can make the option a possibility. You know, we've talked about deposits, things like that. I think it's close on the horizon, but as of right now, just to be flat out, we absolutely said no to it a year ago. It's really being talked about a lot right now. There's really nothing that's not off the table. If we say no to anything, we want to be able to give you the why. And without the why, it's really not very fair for you to be able to understand that. So I'll keep telling everyone, my phone is always open. My email is, I guess I would prefer an email because I'm not always sitting at my phone, but joe@atsinc.com, and I guarantee you that you'll get a personal call back from me.
Absolutely. Joe, do you want to go over maybe some of the what we've been doing the last 12 months?
Sure.
Not 12 months, excuse me, 12 weeks.
But I'm going to ask you then, because we got a lot of great questions coming,
Absolutely.
guys.
I'll keep monitoring the comments.
I love these. So I'm going to spend a little bit of time just talking about what our drivers are experiencing right now, and for our active drivers, I'm going to be talking to a range here. So on our flatbed side, just to give you a flavor. So I'm not sure if you understand how percentile works, but of our entire fleet, in our 70 percentile, which means 70% of our fleet, we're averaging about $1,487 settlement checks on a weekly basis. But our top 10 drivers were over $1,800 on the flatbed side, and on our van side, I'm going to say the 70 percentile was $1,458, and the top 10 for them was $1,810. So pretty neck and neck on the company driver side. So for us in the past, a lot of truck companies try to get you to $1,000 to $1,200. We're finally to that point to where that $1,500 a week number is really important for us to get you to, and this new upside pay program has really helped us do that. Now on the lease side, these are gross numbers less your direct expenses, which is your fuel, your truck payment, your maintenance accounts. So after expenses in the 70 percentile, we're ranging between $2,000 and $2,700 for a range, and in our van side, it was about the same thing, $2,000 to about $2,800. And so at the end of the day, the money's there.
Yes.
And this has been extremely exciting for us to be paying attention to. And when I talk about these ranges, you guys, again, that driver that goes home every 2 weeks and takes 3 days off, there's a trade-off between that and the driver that's going out 3-4 weeks at a time and being, really making good decisions, not turning down freight, trying to keep those trucks rolling and working hard. The earnings are absolutely out there right now. And so we update these numbers absolutely every Monday, and we're going to continue to just be completely transparent about those. So you can see now why we're extremely excited about not only some of these new pay programs that are going on, but if you're looking to get out and go to work and make some money, our freight levels have been just through the roof, and we don't like to bring these things up until we see a trend. And when we start seeing these kind of numbers, 12 weeks in a row, that's telling us we're going in the right direction.
Absolutely. And what is fun for me too, you guys, and for me and Joe, it's you drivers that are answering the questions already. And that's awesome. We love to see that. Now, there's a couple questions, Joe, I don't know, I wouldn't even know about. Are we looking at having possibly a Volvo heavy haul truck, or?
So I saw that. I have not heard of that yet. And the minute we know, we'll tell you. Listen, we're always kind of changing up. 3 years ago, I wouldn't have believed in a heartbeat that we'd have a Peterbilt that's an automatic in our yard. And probably 50-60% of our Peterbilts today are automatics. Yeah. So no, I have not heard about that. It sure doesn't mean that it's a rumor until I can talk to Mark and Ben, the folks running that, the ones that are doing the buying. But if you'd like me to, actually, I will get an answer back to you. It won't be during the live session, but I will privately message you and give you a message back on that, okay?
Awesome. Awesome.
All right. Well, you guys, Jimmy, you got lots of things to talk about. I'm going to get cut. Any other messages that you saw in here that you think we missed?
You know what? I don't. I think we're all good. We hit on most all those up there. And again, our drivers have been doing an outstanding job. And as Joe said, the questions that you have on there, we will be going through after that. I know we got John Big Dog Hayes. I know one of our recruiters. He's been answering some of these too, which is great. That's what we want. Joe and I can't see everything as we're doing this, but that being said, I'm seeing most everything is getting answered that we're looking to do. So keep the questions coming, guys. We will be reviewing this, after the fact, right? Somebody will be actively going through and getting to any questions that you have.
Hey, and David, I'm just going to go and address this. I don't think I heard Jimmy talk about it. So, but you're saying back in 2017, your truck was at 70 miles an hour. I don't know who had that truck before you, and it might have been somebody who owned it. And if it got brought into our lease program, and then we leased it out to you, by our corporate policies, we would have bumped that back down to 70, or 65. So that makes absolutely that would be my logic to follow really quick. But if there's more to it, again, feel free to reach out to me. I've got to tell you guys, I love seeing our active drivers on here. I appreciate all the nice comments that are being made. These things would not be as successful without you guys here with these drivers that are considering ATS. And I'm going to encourage you, if you're a visitor to this ATS Live and you're seeing some messages from some of our active drivers, I'm not going to volunteer this, but I'm going to go and throw it out there. Send them a private message and see if you guys can connect offline to just go through a little bit more of this on a personal basis. We love our drivers talking to new drivers. It's frankly, the majority of the drivers that we bring on board are because of our drivers out there talking. And again, we're not for everybody. Got to make that real clear. We try to do a really good job in the front end to make sure are we the right fit. But exactly. if what you're looking for fits what we want as well, we're going to work our tails off to try to make sure that it's ATS that you choose. Let's see here, Jimmy. I think I'm going to let you keep scrolling through this. So I'm going to kind of get toward the latter part. Yep. I want to make sure that we didn't miss anything.
Nope,
and I did see a comment about some grandfather drivers. Listen, I got this logo right here. We've changed our logos 4 times since I've worked at ATS. And I bring that up only because we got some folks that have been with us for a very long time. And we did some grandfathering for drivers that had been with us for quite a period of time, and we paid attention to their safety records. So we'll make judgment calls based on the full global picture on a case by case. We don't like to just say it's this way for everybody. There are always going to be some exceptions, and we try to make sure that we're doing what's right for the driver and for ATS. Oddly enough, though, you guys have all heard about this whole situation in Minneapolis, Minnesota. And we know that a very big verdict came through, and this has got nothing to do with trucking. But what I will tell you is that we've had a number of drivers concerned about coming to Minneapolis with concerns for their safety. I just want to be the first to tell you, we're keeping drivers from flying in. We're renting vehicles for everybody. And we're quite a ways away from Minneapolis, and nothing has touched St. Cloud. So I just want you guys to know that obviously I'm not going to make any comment about the verdict yesterday. What I will tell you is that everything so far has been quite peaceful, and we don't see that rolling into St. Cloud. And we understand it. It's sad to see that going on, but I think I had 4 drivers that are scheduled to be coming in on Monday that are getting a little bit concerned about it. And I just want you guys to know we're taking every step possible that you guys don't have to touch, feel, or are affected by that by any way. And so a couple of my recruiters asked me to make sure I talked about that tonight, because they're getting more and more questions about that. So, anything we missed, Jimmy?
We didn't miss. Me and Joe were caught up on our comments, and look who's on the bottom. Mr. Hayes has been on there going like crazy answering. So that's awesome. And again, and Lori, that's what we want. And John made the comment there. Family matters to us here, right? So drivers' wives, absolutely. I've talked to drivers' wives on the phone when we're going through through the court process of, is this a good fit? Is it not a good fit? So what I hope everybody, current drivers, hey, your paychecks are going up. Drivers that are coming here or want to come here, believe me, your paychecks are really going to go up. That is, I think, the biggest thing and the topic of the evening is how ATS cares about you, the driver, right? The pay increases show that. The freight that we have shows that, right? I even tell my drivers, right, you're not, Nicholas Beeler. Nicholas Beeler that came in a couple weeks ago, I told him, you will not be truck number 1471. You will be Nicholas Beeler when you come to ATS. And he said, that's exactly how I was treated. That's what I love to hear. So, everybody, I mean, I think we're coming to an end, but what I want, or what I hope you get from me and Joe is, right, we're doing this for you guys, right? We're here out of 7:30 at night, and we want to do it, right? We want to get this news out to you, because you as current drivers can help us get this out to the other drivers, friends that you have, people you worked at different companies. That being said, away we go from there. There you go, Nicholas Beeler. Thank you very much. But with that being said, there's more coming with the van announcement later this week. If you take anything away from this, right, it's about ATS commitment to its drivers, right? That is what I hope to stress. I hope that's what you all got from this is we are as committed to you as you are as committed to us. So thanks for joining. And Joe, if you got anything else?
So what I love about these is because we love to throw the elephant on the table, and the reality is, you've heard me say that not every driver is the same.
Right.
Our contractors are as important as our company drivers. Our company drivers are as important as our contractors. And when times are good, we want to have you guys making as much money as we can on both sides. And if you've been in trucking for a while, there are times that get bad, and our job then is to make sure we're getting enough money to you to get through that hump. But while times are good right now, folks, all I can say is we're trying to capitalize on this opportunity to get as much into your pocket as we possibly can. Nothing is always feels so black and white, and we don't do it all right, but we do try to. And if you take the time to really come and communicate with us and let us know where we can work on improvements or parts of our program that don't quite fit for you, say it like it is, because we can't try to address it. We can't address the pets unless we start hearing from you guys. We couldn't have addressed things with refrigerators. We couldn't address things with passenger policies. Exactly. We can't address things like the shop unless we're hearing it from you. We do want to hear it. If it's just thrown as a complaint, that sometimes it's not quite as constructive for us to do much. But if you really present a situation, we are going to look at that situation and get communication back to you with some outcomes. So all I can say is to our active ATS drivers, love you to death. Thanks for joining us today. And obviously sometimes you guys have got questions you come up with. If you're a driver new to ATS or you're kicking tires wondering about what to do, listen, a whole lot of people in our driver recruiting department is obviously the place to start. Drive for ATS, drive the number 4ATS.com is our website. We obviously got it on our Facebook. We got phone numbers all over the place. I've given you guys my personal email. I really am serious about joe@atsinc.com. I will personally get involved in any questions that come up after the fact. And if we missed anything, we always go back and review those. And if you think of something after the fact, still throw us either a private message or throw it on to this ATS Live, because we keep monitoring that and we will get back to you. Okay? So absolutely. Thank you everybody for joining, and we look forward to. It seems like it's only in a couple hours, which for me it kind of feels like it's going to be. But I'll be doing a brief session tomorrow at 11. And so if you're on tonight and you decide that, hey, I got another question I wish I would have had answered, bring it to me at 11 o'clock, and we'll get that covered at 11 o'clock tomorrow Central Standard Time. So thanks for joining us and Ask Us Anything. Look forward to seeing you in the future.
Thank you, everybody.
And this is where the old guys get clumsy, so